The MACPro Help Desk team welcomes your suggestions for our training and reference materials. Please contact us with your feedback and comments on this training, or if you need other MACPro assistance. You may contact us via email at macpro_helpdesk@cms.hhs.gov or by phone at 301-547-4688. My name's Avni Katari, and I'm with MACPro's Education, Training, and Assistance team. The purpose of today's webinar is to discuss updates to quality measure reporting for fiscal year 2019. We have Gigi Rainey as our CMS representative on today's call to provide additional insight, as well as Christy Lau and Emily Ho from MAC Quality TA to discuss policy updates. Now I'd like to introduce my colleagues that will be presenting and assisting during the session. My colleague Lexi Norfleet will be presenting the second portion of today's presentation. Basil Kudaferis will be driving our slides for today. And my colleague Katie Nation, who is signed in as the attendee Ask Me a Question, will be facilitating your questions via the chat feature. Throughout today's presentation, we welcome any questions you may have. While your lines are currently muted to prevent background noise, we encourage you to submit questions using the WebEx feature at the bottom of your screen. Please make sure to send them to the attendee named Ask Me a Question. Any questions submitted to her will be addressed as we go along and during the question and answer breaks. Here's today's agenda. First, we're going to discuss technical assistance to support Federal Fiscal Year 2019 reporting of the child, adult, and health home core sets. Then we will give a brief overview on MACPro. We'll talk about access and roles information, and we'll discuss the system updates for quality measure reporting for FFY 2019. We will also go over tips and tricks, as well as help desk and additional resource information, and we'll talk about next steps. By the end of today's session, you will know how to obtain access to MACPro and the available state roles, policy and system updates that are new in FFY 2019, some helpful hints for working in MACPro, and where to turn for assistance when using MACPro. So for the first portion of today's presentation, we will hand it to Gigi Rainey from CMS to kick off the technical assistance to support FFY 2019 reporting of child, adult, and health home core sets.
Okay, hopefully everyone knows by now that our webinar today is to talk through reporting of federal fiscal year 2019, and this is reporting for the child, adult, and health home core sets. During this section, we'll be providing you a little bit of background about the core sets, updates to the core sets and technical specifications for all three measure sets, provide you with some information on the technical assistance resources to support states in their reporting, talk a little bit about data quality, and then, of course, answer your questions. So I think the way I started this webinar is what I'd like to continue with. It was just a big thank you to the states who are voluntarily reporting the adult and child core set measures. We do know that it takes a lot of time and effort to do this, and we really appreciate it. So today, with the opening of MACPro this week, we celebrate our 10th birthday, really, the 10th year of voluntary reporting for the child core set, and then the 7th year of reporting for the adult core set. And it's really great to see how far we've been able to come with this program over the last 10 years. So the core sets do support federal and state efforts to collect, report, and use quality standard set of measures to improve the quality of health care provided to individuals in Medicaid and in CHIP, and for states to be able to have a way to look across, not only across various states, but for us to have a national understanding of how our programs are doing and how the quality of care that our beneficiaries are receiving. So we then use that data to help drive quality improvement, and we've got current quality improvement activities focused on preventive dental care for children, maternal and infant health, care for acute and chronic conditions such as asthma and tobacco cessation, as well as timely and effective use of behavioral health services. And we will also be rolling out more QI-focused activities in the future. So another one of our focus areas has been on data quality and completeness. So I'm sure that you guys who have been doing this for a while are very familiar with our Seeks More Information questions and queries. And so we always think that states do a great job with responding to those, and that's all part of the process of partnering with you on this. So some reporting updates. Annual improvements in core set reporting we've definitely been noticed both by us here in the Division of Quality, but also by our state and federal leadership. So some good news is, and I'm giving you guys a little bit of a sneak peek into our federal fiscal year 18 data, which will be posted in the next week or two, but all states voluntarily reported at least one child core set measure for 2018, with 43 states reporting at least half of the measures, which is fantastic. Additionally, states have also worked to increase the number that are reporting performance for both Medicaid and CHIP populations, which we think is wonderful and really important to give us a picture of health across children in our programs. And then in 2018, 45 states included Medicaid and CHIP beneficiaries for at least one measure. As a result of all of this hard work, we're actually going to be able to publicly report 4 child core set measures for the first time in 2018. So I'm not going to give it all away, so you're going to have to wait until we post everything in the next couple of weeks to learn more. And if you're not already following CMCS or HHS on Twitter, it will also be announced through Twitter. And then for speaking to the adult core set, for FFY 18, we had 45 states voluntarily report data on the adult core set, which is the same number that reported for 2017, which was an improvement by, I think, 4 states. And additionally, 32 states reported at least half of the measures for 18. And we are also going to be able to report 3 new measures on the adult core set for this year. So for those of us that live and breathe this stuff, what it means is we're actually going to be able to publicly report 23 child and 23 adult core set measures for 2018. So that's all but 3 of the measures on the child core set, which we think is amazing for a voluntary program, and we really want to thank you for that. So selected measures from the child and adult core sets are also included on the scorecard, which I think will be more, that will be coming in other places. That's not the focus of today's webinar. And then the last thing I wanted to make sure that folks know is that MACPro is actually open. So if you really, really wanted to, you guys could go in right now today after this webinar and report on your child and adult core set measures. But we do ask that states complete their reporting by December 31st, 2019. This is a couple weeks earlier than last year, but we're trying to make sure to close it out by the end of this calendar year and then be able to focus on any data quality questions and remaining things like that as we enter into 2020. Now moving on to the health homes core sets, we want to say a huge thank you to states that are reporting on health homes measures, and we know that we've asked a lot of you over the last couple of years. You guys have been responding to Seek More Information requests for 4 years, and you've been reporting on 2 years. But I think now, like, everybody's all caught up. The playing field's a little bit level, so FFY 19 will be the 7th year of expected reporting for the health homes core set. And, you know, you guys have made huge progress, not only in reporting these utilization measures and quality measures, but also in just providing data completeness with that. So CMS is required to submit a report to Congress every 3 years on this, so I think they're always preparing for that. In addition to core set measures, CMS does expect that states with health homes programs will report specific goals and measures and identified by their individual programs. So who's expected to report? Not all states are expected to report for health homes for FFY 19. Reporting requirements are based on the initial start date for your health home program. And so if you don't know if you're supposed to report or not, we would ask that you please contact the TA mailbox at MACQualityTA@cms.hhs.gov for that information. Reporting for a health homes core set is on the same timeline as the adult and child core sets. It is currently open, and it will be closing December 31st of 2019. Please note, we want to make sure that folks know that adherence to this deadline really does help CMS ensure that we have accurate reports based on an analysis of that data, and it really helps with the process of getting the data out and posted and analyzed for not just for us, but for everyone else. This page has links to all of our FFY 17 data products. So as I mentioned before, the federal fiscal year 2018 data products will soon be posted. We are required by statute to post by September 30th of each year. So data will be out in the next couple of weeks. And never fear, you will all get an email notification when that data goes out, or a tweet, or a post somewhere else, so it's all there. But this page does provide some interesting links about the state Medicaid and CHIP profiles, as well as links to the health quality measures data sets that we have on Medicaid.gov, and our measure-specific tables. All of that is for 2017. We will have similar materials all available for our FY 2018 data as well. So year after year, we've seen more states reporting more measures on the child and adult core sets. So for FFY 18, the median number of measures reported by states on the adult core set actually jumped from 18 for federal fiscal year 17 to 20 measures in 18, which is huge. We also had 36 states that reported more adult core set measures for 2018 than they did for 17. And 21 states reported more child core set measures for 18 than for 17. But more importantly than that, the quality of data and the completeness of that data that each state is submitting is vastly improved from where it was a few years ago. And we see the hard work that you're doing, and we definitely appreciate it. Now, I know that some folks are already thinking about 2024 and mandatory reporting, and while today's webinar is not going to address that topic, today's topic is to support your 2019 reporting, we do want you to know that the work that you have been doing and are continuing to do to improve your reporting for federal fiscal year 19 will definitely help you when you get to 2024.
The MACPro Help Desk team welcomes your suggestions for our training and reference materials. Please contact us with your feedback and comments on this training, or if you need other MACPro assistance. You may contact us via email at macpro_helpdesk@cms.hhs.gov or by phone at 301-547-4688.